on, ladies and gentlemen? This is your boy, Cuban Mic. You listen to 102.9 Tape Deck. And tonight, I got two special guests in the building. Before I introduce my special guests, friends/lady friends, I want to give a shout out to Alberto Vasallo because these ladies came to a show a couple of weeks ago. We'll get into the story. And when I saw the episode with Alberto on it, man, it was a very passionate interview y'all ladies gave. Very relatable because we're kind of both going through the same struggle. And I decided to have him to the show. So shout out to Alberto making this happening. You know, a lot of things have happened since January 3rd. For my audience, I don't know what's going on. The dictator, Maduro, Nicolás Maduro, was arrested, captured. And, you know, the Venezuelan community was all full of joy. You have some haters on the side. We're not going to focus on them, but I really want to focus on the happiness on the Venezuelan community. And I have two ladies in the building. I got Maria Alejandra and Nare. Nare, what's your last name?
Villarroel.
That's an extended name.
Yeah, I know it is.
Yeah.
Roll that R.
Villarroel.
Yeah. Lot of R's.
You got to practice the double L, the double R. You got to practice all of them.
A lot of R's in that name of yours.
I know.
But thank you for taking the time to come in through the tape deck.
Thank you for having us.
Yes. I want to go back because I want to share a funny, not a funny story, but kind of a funny story. But before I do the story, I want to go back to January 3rd. I want to know where you ladies were and what was the reaction when you got the news that Maduro was finally caught.
You want to go first?
Who want to go first?
Oh my God, I'm gonna go first.
Go first.
Well, first of all, I really like your introduction because you said the dictatorship.
Yes.
Of
And
course.
that's a good start right there.
A dictatorship.
Uncaptured.
We want to
too.
make sure that Maduro is not called president, that a president was not taken away from a country. No, he was a criminal that was, that they were looking for.
And it was-
$50 million on his head.
And when I add to it was a regime. It was a regime. It's not a
Exactly.
government. It was a regime.
Yes.
It's part of the international organized crime.
Yeah.
So it's more criminal than anything else. Mm-hmm. So what I was doing on January 3rd, oh my God. Well, I was supposed to have a meeting the next day in the morning. So I went to sleep a little bit late. And here I am looking at my messages, 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. And I get this news that Venezuela, is being an intervention. And I couldn't believe it. We've been fighting for this for over 25 years. I really thought it was one of those prank and fake videos. When I realized that everything was true, that was very joyful. We fought so much for this day. It's overwhelming to explain how it was. It was more than happiness. We're talking about a person that is responsible for the death of millions of people, not only inside Venezuela, but outside abroad. So it was a very joyful moment. I started getting messages back and forth. People were calling conference calls, Zooms right immediately after everything was happening. I was 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning in the middle of, getting together with people from all around the world.
Wow.
We all really needed to confirm that it was true, that it was just one person in one side of the world listening to those news. So I have to say that just talking about it really brings up all these emotions that the best day that we ever had. Like some people say out there, is the best grape that I had for the New Year's Eve because, Latinos.
That was my
usually
mother's only grape. She was like, I'm just going to eat one. I just want one grape. I don't need
Wow.
any other.
Yeah.
And yourself, Nare?
Well, I was actually sleeping. I usually don't sleep early because I usually have insomnia. But that day specifically, I was sleeping around 10 p.m. or something like that. And my best friend called me around the moment, and he just told me, like, it's happening. That's the sentence that he told me, it's happening. And I told him, don't play with that. Don't joke around with that, Joke around with everything but that. And he was like, no, I'm serious. It is happening. And I was like, how? And then he started telling me, like, they're attacking specific parts in Venezuela. And of course, I feel like as Venezuelans, we've had so many moments of hope that comes right after that has right after a situation of losing that hope and feeling betrayed again, that I didn't want to believe it at first. So I was seeing the whole news and the way that it was developing, but at the same time I was very like concerned that this is a real thing. um to me it was like a beautiful present, a beautiful New Year's Eve present. And I was still concerned, and I really wanted to see the press conference. And I also had a meeting at 9 a.m. the day after, but my boss called me and he told me, like, I know that there's stuff happening in Venezuela, so no worries, we're gonna move it, it's okay, which I'm very thankful for. And after that, I watched the press conference, and the journey hasn't stopped. Every day is a new thing, and that's one of the hardest part. That so many people have so many opinions, of course, but at the same time, we try to remain informed and very critical about the information that we're getting, so we know that it's not biased. But also, we at the same moment has a lot of uncertainty because this is something that is still going on. I guess that there's progress that has been made, but we're still very far away. That there's a lot of stuff that there's news. It needs to still be on. I'm sorry, my English is a little broken.
You better talk and now you better continue on, young lady.
I have to say that her English is wonderful because she hasn't been here for many years, and I can see that she's just gone so far.
Ni te atreves. Don't you dare get self-conscious about me, my friend. Ni te atreves. Continue.
If it's Starfield, I'll just go with the Spanish and I'll be like, tell me what's that.
You can speak Spanish here in the building. No te preocupes.
La arepa es venezolana.
Mete mano. Aquí no hay miedo. Porque no habla inglés, español. They're going to get the chip. Oh, Bad Bunny's about to do the Super Bowl, so he's about to speak to a whole English alley out there.
My God.
Tomorrow's going to be a party.
So don't worry about that.
Yeah, Sunday's going to be a party. But yeah, I was very concerned. And after the press conference, the uncertainty remains. I would say that we were all concerned. That's the word that we could have for that.
Yeah. Well, we know it was the beginning. It's hard to have the patience to understand that this is a process, but we're enjoying everything that's happening step by step.
Yeah, and I would say that we also have to enjoy a lot of the small wins, like seeing Maduro and Cilia in jail. That's a beautiful small win. Or seeing many of them being so afraid. That's a small win.
Oh my God!
The best part and the most important one, and that was one of the reasons that I think Maria Alejandra and I made such a good match the first time that we were talking about this situation. It was that we were both very concerned about the primary and main thing here, which is the political prisoners. That's the people that we need out. El helicoide, and those are the things that we need to keep talking about. El helicoide needs to be shut down and needs to be a museum. Everyone needs to remember what happened there. We cannot erase story. And people that lose their lives there, they need justice as well.
And you know what? They're also part of this winning situation.
Of course.
Because they gave their life. These are people that put their fears on the side and went out and confront them, and they ended up in jail for that. And many of them just for bringing out their opinion, not even being confrontal about it. But so we have to talk about that there's many prisoners still in jail. Venezuela is not free yet. We're at the beginning of that. And we're trying to enjoy whatever we're doing right now, but there's so much more to do.
Yes.
A lot of work.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Well, I want to share my story on what happened on January 3rd. So here's what happened. My mother has been keeping a close eye on what's going on in Venezuela because you guys gives us hope, the Cuban community. And, I can't forget about the people in Nicaragua also going through it. So for the last couple of months, my mom's been watching the whole news and what's going on with Venezuela on YouTube or whatever. And it got to the point that she was like, they're going to get him. They're going to get him. They're going to get him. October, November. Then when December came, she was like, you know what? They're not going to get him. They're wasting our time.
Oh, my God.
This is just a pump fake. He's not going to do anything. He's probably going to deal with the oil. And he's just a bluff because there's been other situations back in, I remember 2016, 2017, they were trying to do something and it became like an utter failure. It was just nothing came out of that. So my mom was just like, all right, either Trump's going to get this guy or just piss off because nothing's going to happen. January 3rd happens. I'm falling asleep because I have friends in New Jersey that are Cuban. They're also watching the whole thing of Venezuela, how it's panning out. I'm having like the best sleep in the world, and then my phone goes off. I'm thinking it's my alarm. And I shut off my phone thinking it's my alarm because my alarm has the same ringtone as my phone. So I saw it off. And then my phone rings again. And I'm thinking in my head, because I'm so deep in my sleep, I'm putting my phone on snooze. I did that at least 3 times. And then by like the 5th time, I get like the text ring. And like, okay, I'm getting a text. This must be something important. 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Then my friend sent me a text. They got Maduro. I'm calling her, and I'm like, look, if there's some stupid meme that you see on Instagram, I don't want to deal with shenanigans right now. He's like, no, what? Put it in the news. And I'm watching CNN and Fox, like, they got Maduro. I get like another call from another Cuban friend. He's like, they got Maduro. I'm like, I'm watching him. I'm staying tuned. And then,
Like the joy.
because I'm happy for you because you guys give us hope. Yeah. And I'm like, I want to wake up my mother, but she's sleeping. I want to wake up my mom, but she's sleeping. No, forget it. I'm waking up my mom. Mom, they got my... And she's like, listen, I've been up since 2 o'clock in the morning. I got a call.
You're waking no one.
Yeah. She's been up since 2 o'clock in the morning because one of her friends from Miami called her and they say they got Maduro, but then she got a call at 2:30 in the morning. Usually when they got a call that late, it's not good news. So she gets a call and like, no, they called me from there and I thought somebody passed away or something. Like, no, they got Maduro. And she was not like catching any good sleep out of that. And we were just all staying tuned. We were all staying posted. And like when we say that the Cuban community was happy for you guys, because again, you gave us hope, we were just rooting for it. And just like him seeing in cuffs is the most satisfying thing that you could see.
Michael, you do know that we have you guys always in our mind, right?
Yes,
you
absolutely.
do know that we really want Cuba to be free.
But
And
okay, go ahead.
That's the thing that I feel like there is very few people that can understand the Venezuelan situation, and one of them is la comunidad cubana, Cuban community. And it feels like every time that something, and I remember that a few years ago or something, like a few months ago, there were some protests in Cuba, and I was like, yeah, guys, fight back, you know?
Yeah.
Every time that something happened within our communities, we feel this hope because we can understand the struggle, and this is a struggle that not a lot of people can understand, because some usually is but my country also has poverty, and it's like it's not only that, and it's not only the poverty, and it's not only a few people that is poor. We're talking about a massive crisis. So I feel the same. I think that if someone can understand us, it's you guys. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I will say this. I mean, I'd like to give kisses to Maria because from a distance, because ever since we had our situation, Maria always been with us to our side with her Venezuela flag and our Cuban flag putting together as one. And she's always been there on the front line with us. Anytime we had a meeting, a protest, a manifestation, anniversary in October, she was always there with us. So, it's only right we have to get back to you guys and, continue to fight the good fight. And for that, we thank you.
I always want to make sure that every time in Venezuela we talk about how bad the Cubans have been, because of the Castros.
Yeah.
I always wanted to make sure that people understood. Please, let's not say it's the Cuban people. It's only this group of criminals, the Castros.
Yeah.
Actually,
that are the one doing all this harm, not only to
I absolutely
their
love
place,
what
but
you're
to
saying.
Venezuela.
I absolutely love what you're saying, because something a definition that to me makes it makes like some annoying sound to me or something like that is when people say like, this is what's going on in Venezuela is the Cuban dictatorship, and it feels like I would feel so bad. I would feel so sad if someone says, well, the Venezuelan dictatorship, the Venezuelan way wants to get into my country. I would feel horrible because that was not my way. I was protesting.
Well, now that we're
so
bringing up this topic, let me tell you something. I did get a little bit of this feeling in the last few months when they started talking about the Tren de Aragua.
Exactly.
Because now all Venezuelans were put in the same pot, right?
Yeah.
So now everybody's a criminal, everybody's a terrorist, everybody's a gangster. Yeah, part of the terrorist gang.
Yeah.
Tren de Aragua.
Just terrorizing the country.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's good to make those,
separaciones.
separations.
A ver, ¿cómo se dice separaciones?
No te preocupes, mete mano. Habla.
Separaciones. Hacer esas separaciones.
Yeah.
It's actually the same word, separation.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I learned a new word today. Huh?
I love it. I want to go back for a second because there's something I want to ask y'all. I saw the show you guys did with Alberto, and I loved every minute of it. The one thing I did, and I want to give you ladies a safe space because this is all about Venezuela. It's not, even though we're going through it without, this is all about you guys, because every week I always nag about Cuba, and it's not always I have people in Venezuela in the building. So this is going to be all about you guys.
Cubans did warn us, though.
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that.
We were, and that's something that we don't like to accept, but we were arrogant. We were arrogant enough to say that we did.
Hold that thought. We'll get to that. Don't worry. I'm gonna get to that.
Okay.
You know, when Alberto did the show, and it was a great thing because you guys was able to, you know, debate opposing people, and you know, we live in this country, so I guess we have to, like, you know, hear other people's opinion. But I also have the right to not respect your opinion. So the thing that I was annoyed with that episode is, like, you know, because me being Cuban, every time I have to scream at the top of my lungs that this is what's going on, I realize the people that go against me are people that are not from my community. So the fact you have people that could be from Mexico, black man or white man or Mexican, whatever the case may be, they not only don't understand what the hell they're talking about, they go somewhere else that has nothing to do with the conversation. So we talk about dictatorship, and they don't go back and talk about the colonialism of the United States of America, which the word pisses the hell out of me, imperialism. That's the go-to word they go to every time they want to discuss this situation. The imperialism and all that other stuff. I guess I asked to say this, man. Have you been to those kind of situations outside of the debate you guys went through with that? And what's like the immediate reaction we have to deal with these individuals? I got to be next. I'm on the radio station, so I can't even cuss. But
I did get a few phone calls, though.
Continue.
Yeah.
How are you feeling? What do you think? How do you think I feel? Yeah. They got the person that was doing the worst to millions of people. We have the biggest displacement of humans in the whole continent. And I'm not going to say the world because I'm going to keep it to just the continent here.
Yeah. The second one from the world, actually.
Okay. Almost 9 million people had to flee the country because everything that they did, trying to survive outside.
Yeah.
So it was hard for me to get that question, how are you feeling? Because, yes, I was very happy to see these men being captured. And I don't even want to use the word man. He's a criminal, and we need to call him how he is.
He is a criminal.
Yeah.
A criminal.
So people are very confused because they started bringing up all this about international laws and how, they wouldn't capture a president, and everything was just really taken out of context.
They kidnapped them. Yeah, that was the word that was annoying me.
The way I hate when they say kidnap, the way something inside of me just like...
La rabia, tremenda rabia.
Como que un ojo me tiembla. Cada vez que dicen secuestro, el ojo me empieza a temblar. Yo, pero paren, por favor.
Tremenda rabia. So I get it. One of the things also that I also was like annoyed because I know we live in this world right now that Trump is not everybody's favorite, and also when you hear that he did what he did, it was like, well, it's not like he did it for the right reasons. Like, you know, his heart was not in the right place. I'm like, first of all, I live in this country. I've been born in this country. This country never does anything with the right intention. Anytime they claim they're going to do something nice, there's always like what am I getting in the back end. So we already know, you guys being from Venezuela, the word oil comes into play.
Oh, I want to tell you something about that oil.
Continue.
None of us has benefited from that oil so far. Okay?
It's so funny, and that's a very interesting conversation. First of all, going with the thing about the everyone has an opinion, and the bad thing about it is that everyone has an opinion, but not a lot of people wants to have an informed opinion. And that is something really important to have, right? Yeah. At the same time, I feel like two things can be true at the same time. It's not like we had a very big line of countries that were willing to do something for us. We've been waiting. We've been asking for help. We've been protesting.
27 years fighting.
Everything by the book. We did everything by the democracy. And people are talking about, and I know that many of them don't do it from a bad side. They don't do it because they want to be mean or something like that. But that's the thing. That's why we need to be informed. And we need to be informed with verified information, because... Here's the thing with this. Many of them were very worried about the sovereignty of Venezuela, but Venezuela it doesn't have any sovereignty ever since 1999. It's the same situation with the oil. People were very concerned about the United States taking the oil. Like, it's not like we benefit from it ever since a long time ago. Like... the oil that now could be from USA used to be from Russia,
but
from
it was
Iran,
taken.
It was taken from all of them. So it's like
Cuba, the Castros were doing business with the Venezuelan oil.
China.
Well, yeah.
So why supporting that idea
Yeah.
and not United States
And
when
it-
they're helping us to
And it-
get our freedom.
Totally. And it also, it's like, it's a little patronizing as well. Like, you don't know what's going on. Of course I know what's going on. I have 26 years living the dictatorship, and I know that no one does something within any other reason. Like, I'm not naive. We're not naive. We know that he is not an altruist, but at the same time, he was the only one willing to do something. It's not like there was a line of countries trying to do something. And when we went to ask for help to the OEA, I don't know what's
the UN, the United Nations or whatever.
the United Nations, 16 countries.
And they're a joke.
16 countries se abstuvieron a dar una opinión, se abstuvieron a pedir los resultados de las elecciones. So now that we did all of this and at least someone cared enough for whatever reason, whether if it's the oil, whatever it is, someone was willing to do something. It's not in the best situation. Of course, it's not in the best situation. We're in the real world. Nothing is in the best situations. Have you seen the news? Like, we are working with what we have, not with what's best. And that's the thing with many people. They have a book, like, informed opinion, talking about the books, that talk about philosophies and stuff like that. And that is beautiful. But we also need to see what really is happening. It's the reality. Your ideology has to fit the reality. The reality, it's not gonna fit your ideology. And you need to make the pieces with it. And if you're trying the reality to fit in your ideology, then you're doing it wrong. You're absolutely doing it wrong because you're playing with human beings. You're talking to human beings and you're being very non-empathetic with human beings.
Dying.
Exactly.
Yeah. So this is where I come and say, can we put politics on the side just for this topic, please?
Yeah.
Because this is a humanitarian issue. We're talking about the lives of millions of people. So, I mean, it's understandable that people have their political preferences and they will, support that. And we all have to respect that. But for this, just for this topic, we really appreciate that you understand that Venezuela needed this criminal to be taken out. And Venezuela continues needing as much support as possible from USA because there wasn't any other country helping us when we asked for it for the past 25 years.
And that, adding to that, two things can be true at the same time. It's very dangerous when people believe that you have to agree with everything that someone is saying or disagree with everything that someone is saying. Yeah. You can absolutely disagree with the things that are going on here and that we know that are not okay. And at the same time, understand that what happened in Venezuela was something good, was something to celebrate. I didn't celebrate personally because, again, I'm very desconfiada because we've had so many moments where we feel betrayed that I was like, I'd rather wait. Yeah. But, I mean, if there was a 80-year-old man that thought that he would never live to see the moment where this guy would be in jail, let him celebrate. Give it to him. Like, we've been suffering for so long that we also have to ask permission to be happy about the dictatorship being taken away. Like,
another thing that I also find kind of hilarious. Don't you find it hilarious that after two things? One, before January 3rd, Venezuela was in nobody's radar. We were not on the news. Y'all were not on the news. You were not on social media.
Ahora todo el mundo es sociopolítico.
Oh, not only that, they're the most oil geopolitical expert that they'll break down the gram, the gallons, the numbers that Trump has taken and giving it to the states. They became the most expert of the most experts when it comes to this topic. So that was really super annoying coming from that end.
And I'm always in the social media. I'm always correcting people. I have to get into all these different groups every single day, making sure that people are informed. Because I just, we just can't let that go. That people are taking things totally out of context, misinterpreting this. No, we have to be objective for once.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. And it was very, very annoying, mostly because muchas personas, they just wanted to have an opinion. They just wanted to be part of a conversation
that they knew nothing about,
and that they don't know nothing about. Just to say that they said something, and that's why I make the difference. There's a very huge difference between an opinion and an informed opinion, and something that we was even more annoying was many people trying to shut down Venezuelan voices. And they were even adding stuff that it was very crazy. So, for example, one of the comments that I saw was on X, and it was like, it's just the people that is outside of Venezuela talking about what is happening. Why no one inside talks about it? I was like, because we're in a dictatorship. Because every person that went and celebrated the day after got into jail. Because
Everyone was put in jail.
My small town, I come from a very small town in Venezuela. Shout out La Victoria. Woo!
Hey, shout out.
And La Victoria,
Yeah.
La Victoria is a very, very small town. The whole La Victoria was paramilitarizada. There was armed groups in every corner, and they were asking for phones. If you had something about what happened and supporting what happened, they would take you to jail. That's why no one was celebrating. They cannot celebrate.
Yeah, there's no freedom of speech.
There's no
period.
freedom of speech. So I post that on a comment, and she said, like, I'm pretty sure that's a fake account. It's like, no, it's someone telling you. Some other people were like, it's just the white Venezuelans. And it's like, do not push the issues that you have in other countries in our country. This is not a thing of color. This is not a thing of, it's just a thing of people being absolutely tired of what's going on in Venezuela. I'm 26 years old. I'm as old as the dictatorship. The only government that I've known in Venezuela is the dictatorship. Of course we are tired. Of course we just want them all out. And there's still people that we want out. There's a few names that I prayed.
Yeah.
Every
Diosdado
night.
Cabello. They need to go and pick up Diosdado Cabello. Los
Please,
Rodriguez,
God.
Delcy, the new president in charge. It's actually scary for me to pronounce that.
Presidente interina.
I
There's
can't
so
even
many
say
names.
that because that woman is the worst criminal out there.
Yeah, all of them,
So-
all of them. Diosdado, if we talk again about Diosdado Cabello, to me, that's a very personal situation because I was a
Protester.
protester.
sí,
Protester. I was a protester in Venezuela back in 2017. So he was the one calling the colectivos to the streets to murder students. I used to protest with kids as young as 12 years old, 11 years old. You're telling me that you are willing to take the life of an 11 years old because he's tired, because he's hungry, and he just wants something to eat. And I remember that on the streets, the feeling was like, I'm okay with dying here because at least I'm dying for something. I might as well die in a hospital because we don't have even Band-Aids. Or we might as well die at home because the only thing that we have eaten is yuca, cassava, and mangoes. Like, there's like a few foods that for us Venezuelans are very specific, and when we hear about them, we feel nostalgic because they were really the only thing that we were eating. At my home, we were eating arepas de maíz pilado y yuca. Yuca in all of the ways that you can eat yuca because it was the only thing that we could eat. So when you have all of these on the table, and then you tell me, but United States is not in the best wishes. It's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I do not care. As long as these very important names are also taken down, like, bring it on. Like,
Michael, and I want to say that I really appreciate everything that USA is doing.
Yeah.
Because I know I have the biggest hope that Maduro was taken, but they already have the names of the next ones going out.
I hope so. I really hope so that too.
I believe they have a good strategy in place. That Marco Rubio's, he knows exactly who they are. And he already said that Maria Corina Machado will come to the country when the time is safe for her.
Yeah.
And you know, now with time, as the days are going by, we understand that that's the best plan. At the beginning, we all wanted to see Maria Corina immediately in the country because she's been the one making this possible. She's been the one fighting for many years. But I guess, we've been fighting for so long that now it's okay to wait. But we still have to make sure that these people are taken away because it's a whole band. It's a whole gang.
Yeah, it's a whole gang. It's a whole gang.
And at the end of the day, it's a Game of Thrones. Like, it's a game of power from here and from there. And again, two things can be true at the same time. We can be thankful. We can be very happy with what's going on. And at the same time, understand that many concerning things are going on right now in United States. So again, something that I always put there when I'm in this kind of podcasts or radios or stuff like this is critical thought. You need to think about what's going on. You need to read. You need to be informed, and you need to say, yeah, I agree with this. I absolutely disagree with this, and I know that this was right the same way that I know that this could be wrong. So yeah.
Yeah. Just to piggyback what you ladies are saying. One of the things you did mention, because when I saw what happened in Venezuela, I know for a fact there was going to be people from the opposing end that are not working against fair. So I saw everything that they pretty much say about the Cubans when there's people that's cheering the evil side of the regime. So I saw videos of saying, like, there was this video that I had to make a response on it because it really just, it fueled my blood pressure. Like the guy was saying, notice that the people that are only celebrating Venezuela are only like the rich, entitled Venezuelan people. And there's no indigenous and there's no black people being upset about this stuff. And they picked one video of this one guy, this young kid. He had like a Palestine scarf. I hate the Yankees t-shirt. Like when I see him, because I could smell the communists from a mile away, so I already know what they represent. They got funny looking red hair, a funny nose ring, all bust tattoos. They look like having showering days. Like I know what they look like already, because I deal with these people when I go to war with my cause. So you have these people that try to do like this divide and conquer. So I know where they're going with it. And my response to all those people is, if you don't have a response on how to liberate certain countries, keep your mouth shut and listen to the people that have been through it. Because all you're doing is looking from the side. And I know we talk about, we live in this racial country and there's white privilege, but there's also this thing called American privilege. You got that. You could complain about your president, make a song about your president. Your house is not going to get taken away. Your job's not going to get taken away. We could express our displeasure to the government any way we want to, and we could keep our jobs. Like, I have a personal radio station here. I complain about the politicians I deal in Massachusetts. I'm still here.
And that's the reason why we're here.
Exactly.
Because there's a lot of people in Venezuela that they can't talk. Mm-hmm. We have mothers staying outside the jails for days. We
mothers
have
that have died.
Even that die before they see their children free.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's the reason why we're here today. We really appreciate we have this little window where we can express what's going on in Venezuela, and from the point of view of a Venezuelan, not the paid groups that they have out there in a few places around this country. Where none of them speak Spanish, none of them have ever been in Venezuela.
None.
And they actually have a sign saying, what is it? Take off Venezuela. Hands off Venezuela. Hands off Venezuela.
It's the same playbook.
Hello, what are you talking about?
But we've been so many years like, please, hands in Venezuela.
Hands in Venezuela.
And
go ahead.
Going with what you're saying. I like the definition that you had of American privilege, because in the same way, like, you need people that is like have. I'm glad that they're, putting their eyes in the Venezuelan situation. Thank you for thinking of us. But at the same time, remember that you're talking from privilege, and you're talking from the point of view of the politics of United States. They need to understand that United States politics is not the same as in Venezuela. There is a big racial problem here, and we understand that. Yeah. But in Venezuela, it's managed differently. Like, you will see people celebrating. Everyone will celebrate. Like, here, again, I don't mean to offend anyone, but in Venezuela, I'm black. Yo soy negra. Yo tengo el pelo, lo que dirían el pelo chicha en Venezuela. Yo no soy de una familia millonaria. I'm not from a rich family at all. I'm the first one being here. I'm the first one being at the university in the United States. I'm not from a privileged family at all in Venezuela. Yeah. And of course, I'm happy about what happened. And I'm just waiting to see the rest of them down, because I really want to see them down. So, yeah, they need to understand that the way that the politics works here is not the same way that works in Venezuela. So the way that you have the racial situations here is not the same way that is managed in Venezuela. I'm not saying that we don't have our problems with racial and classism and all of that. Of course we do, but it's not in the same way. So that's something that they need to understand as well.
It's a different culture.
It's a different culture, yeah.
100%. Well, listen, yo, this is your boy Cuban Mic. You listen to 102.9 Tape Deck. We're going to take a quick break here for a second, put in some music, and just enjoy yourself, man. I hope you're enjoying this Venezuela talk, because I know I am. So bear with me for a few, y'all. Oh, and by the way, we're gonna start. What we're gonna got here? We got here. Oh yeah, we got La Crema. We got Maduro. 102.8 tape. And we are back. This is Cuban Mic. Listen to 102.9 tape deck. We're having a great conversation on Venezuela. We were talking some stuff behind the scenes, and there was a conversation we just had about, and you know, there was things that you guys were telling me about the protest that was going on in Venezuela. I would like to get more in details. But before I get into that, there was something I remember we talked in the beginning of the show, that there was something that the Cuban community was trying to warn the Venezuelans about having Chavez during that time. When all that
I
stuff
can
happened.
tell you my personal experience with that.
Please tell me.
Because I actually have 2 daughters that are half Cubans.
Yeah, we're about to get around in a second. We're about to get
So
around in a
that's
second.
how close I got to the Cuban community.
Yeah, he tried to warn you.
Oh my God. I had in my house people that were in prison for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And my ex-husband actually allowed them to come to our house and stay there as soon as they were able to get off from Cuba. So all these people, they from the very first minute they saw Chavez talking to Castro, having that wonderful relationship, and how Chavez was putting him as a god, they said, this is not good.
Yeah.
I mean, you know who Castro is? Of course, at the time, I didn't really know who Castro was, because I was, 24 years old, 23. I never really cared about what was going on in Cuba. You know, I was coming from that little cloud that a lot of Venezuelans were living in for many years.
Yeah.
We kind of underestimate what these terrorists could do to the country.
Yeah.
Venezuela was a very easy ground to get in, because Cubans, well, the Castros, I hate to say Cubans because I don't want to put everybody in that
Yeah, don't
same
do that
pot.
to us now. We
Yes,
warned you. We warned you.
yes,
we
yes.
try to tell you.
Yeah.
To us.
Yeah, Mike is like, don't blame me.
I don't have anything to do with that. Okay.
Yeah.
So in the 1960s, there was a group from the Castros that came to Venezuela. They tried to do some type of, I'm not going to say kidnapping, but they did try to somehow invade Venezuela. So the Castros already had this plan. And talking about that, 32 Cubans died
Yeah.
protecting Maduro.
Yep.
And one of the directors that La hija de Diosdado, Diosdado's daughter, is covering right now, it was a Cuban woman having one of the highest positions in Venezuela. So you know what? If this didn't happen now, the Castro would have taken Venezuela at some point, because they were everywhere in the country.
Yeah.
And so much that they deal with our identities. They have the business of controlling Venezuelans' IDs. It's not even done in Venezuela. That's already done in Cuba.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things going on. I know you asked me that the question was, what happened? The Cubans warned you. Yes, they really warned us.
Yeah.
It wasn't a good relationship, but we always said, no, eso no nos va a pasar a nosotros, vale.
Yeah.
It actually
Venezuela
became
no
a
es
very...
Cuba.
Venezuela no es Cuba.
Yeah.
That was the way that they used to say it.
That's how naive
Yeah, that's how
and
naive we were.
ignorant.
Yeah.
Ignorance.
And I would add to that, and this is, it's funny because I'm always invited, I'm always thankful when I'm invited to these kind of places, but I know that I'm going to bother a lot of people with my opinion, and even the people that agree with me at some point are going to be like, And this is one of those points. I'm going to add the word arrogance. We were arrogant because many people were there with statistics telling us what was going on. And I cannot say that it was me because, again, I have never voted in my life. I escaped Venezuela at 17 years old, so I cannot vote yet.
Yeah.
But they were arrogant enough, Venezuelans, we were arrogant enough to say, no, Venezuela is not going to go through it. In the case of my family, actually, mi núcleo familiar, like my dad and my mom, were the only ones that were not trusting what was going on. And they all have their own reasons, but particular about my mom, she is a teacher, and she traveled to Cuba in an exchange of information because they were talking about Cuban education. When she came back to that trip, she just locked herself in her room and cried a whole week. She cried the whole week, and it was because she later, when I was old enough, she told me like she saw so many horrible things. She thought kids that were starving and they didn't even know what an apple was, that she brought some pencils to the kids and they were like, I have never seen a pencil of this brand. So she was so terrorized about everything that she saw there, and she was telling everyone in her group like, this is what's gonna happen, please don't let it happen. No one told me about it, no one is telling me that this is it. No, I saw it with my own eyes.
Yeah.
Please do not vote for them. And they didn't hear.
Yeah,
They
listen.
didn't hear it. And I understand why it's so easy to fall down for a populista, for a populist, because they do say the words that you want to hear and they speak in a way that is easy for you to understand. But from a politician, you don't want someone that is going to use the same bad words that you're going to use. Do you want someone educated? You want someone that is able to talk politics. You want someone that is able to talk about diplomacia, and they are able to talk about the economy situation and the financial vocabulary that you don't have, that I don't have.
Yeah.
Entonces, again, we go back with something that I'm always saying, pensamiento crítico. You cannot go just because you like the way that he's talking. And that is something that is going to be a problem regardless the color of the political party.
Yeah.
Porque we had it in the communist side. It's very dangerous. Don't get me wrong. El comunismo es peligroso. Yes, it is what it is. But there is a Rubén Blades saying, which is, a que se vista de color, yo siempre sé por dónde viene. Y it's very important to be able to recognize that, to recognize populism, understand when someone is not saying what they should and go against it.
Yeah, I mean, with those kind of individuals, where they do a good job, they speaking to the have-nots, the one that don't have it. So when you got a group of people saying, I'll take care of you, don't have to worry anything, I got you, you lean towards that because you're starving, is whatever political situation going before that, you going to a situation where somebody tells you, I got you, don't worry about it, they're treating you bad, we're the good ones, don't worry about it. And then sooner or later, you just get tricked into something that you were not expected. So
And there was another phrase that it was going on back in Venezuela in that moment. It was like, I remember that for the second time that Chavez won, that by the way, I want to put this on the table. No, it is not it was worse with Maduro. No, this started with Chavez. Chavez was as bad as Maduro. They were both horrible. That's something that needs to be there. Nothing that what happened with Maduro could have been possible if it weren't for Chavez.
Yeah.
So putting that aside, something that was very repeated in those early years was like, well, it's just a presidential period of 4 years. He needs more time to do the changes. 4 years is just not enough.
Yeah.
And that is so dangerous
Yeah.
because power is a thing that is a little bit like se vuelve adictiva. It's addictive.
Yeah.
So 4 years is enough for a president to be in the power. I think that they should be changed after 4 years,
Yeah.
or else it's gonna be dangerous.
Yeah.
And Venezuela is a very big example of it.
It's a slippery slope. It's an extreme slippery slope. And I want to tell my audience this real quick because I should have said this earlier on, while we were talking about Maduro being quote unquote kidnapped. He was not even the president to begin with because he rigged the elections. A lot of people don't even know that.
Yes.
He rigged the elections. Maria, El Mundo, right? Is his name? El Mundo.
Edmundo González Urrutia.
And Maria.
And Maria Corina.
They won by a landslide. They won by
70%.
Yeah.
Edmundo González.
Yeah, and right at the final hour, they
And
did what
he
they
got,
did.
he didn't get more because Venezuelans, the
cannot
diaspora,
vote.
were not allowed to vote.
Yeah, I have never voted in my life.
And a lot of people inside Venezuela were not giving the ID so they could vote.
Yeah.
So millions of people were not able to vote.
A lot of rigging went along with that. So he wasn't
Yes.
even a respectable president to begin with. And that was the only one time I could say like the world actually got together and said, all right, a good portion, 70% of the world said, we're not going to acknowledge you as the president, except for the usual suspect, China, Russia, and Cuba.
Of
'Cause
course,
the
yeah.
usual
Everybody
suspect.
knows who supports them.
Everybody,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's not even a secret anymore.
And I'm so thankful with the countries that has always been coherentes with their information, that has always been coherent with what they're saying and what they do. Panama, for example, Peru, los cancilleres de Peru, they've always speak. And Peru and Panama were one of the very few countries that were like, yes, I voted yes on the USA. Please show the results of the election. And for everyone that is still still have their doubts about the elections of July 28, you can go to the www.resultadosconvenezuela.com. There you will see every tally of the elections. You can put every name and you will see the results with your own eyes. And having those papers, that was also people that were willing to put their lives in danger to in order for all of us in the world to have those results. So it's not that they're not confirmed. They are confirmed. We have the proofs. And if you want to see it too, you can see them there. Resultadosconvenezuela.com.
Thank you. Thank you a lot. Thank you very much. All right. Where's the young lady at? Where's the?
Oh,
yeah,
Gabby.
bring her on here. Bring her on, young
Come
lady.
on, Gabby. Is this what she's gonna use, or you want me to give her mine?
No, she can stay there. She, I want to come along with a second.
Okay,
be
come
part
on.
of the spotlight.
So she can be
Come on.
close.
Okay.
Yeah, she
Okay.
can squeeze just a little bit. Perfect. If you can move a little bit forward, can you move it forward? That's good. All right.
Oops.
Excellent. Okay. Okay. So I want to go back now. We talked about the protest. Can you ladies tell me about the situation with the protest? You say you want to talk about
Of course.
Please
yeah.
break that down to my
Very
audience.
important topic.
Sure,
Yes.
that's very important as well.
Well, first of all, we had a lot of people that died in those protests, though. We had a lot of minors put in jail
And dying too.
and dying.
And actually, I can talk about the protests of 2017 because those were the ones that I participated in. But Venezuela has been protesting ever since this started. There's people in jail from 22. 22? Is that the way that you say that year? 2002?
2022?
No, 22.
2022?
2002.
Yeah, 2022. 2022?
No,
No,
2002.
2002.
2002.
Oh,
2002.
Oh, okay, 2002.
Sorry.
Thanks, young one.
English glitching. So there's people that has been in jails ever since 2002 because Venezuela has protests over and over and over again. So something that I don't like people saying is when they say like, wait, no, you guys didn't fight back. We've been fighting back over and over again. I was in the ones of 2017 and a lot of people died in those protests. And los colectivos, los tupamaros, the armed groups, they were sent to the protest with the order of killing us. And you would see the way that they would be very wild and savage against us. And, there's the popular names, of course, that we have to still name them. Neomar Lander, Basil da Costa, Edmar, all of them, they are very important. But we also had very small towns that were fighting. My town is very, very small, and those names are not gone or not. They're not even named, and they will be forgotten as well. And they are just disappearing, and they just disappear as well. I have friends that I never saw again when they were taken, and I know that I'm never gonna see them, and I know that they probably are not alive. And those names are also important, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they were there just asking what we were all asking, which was freedom. Because Venezuela, 2017 Venezuela, 2016 Venezuela, was one of the biggest moments of the crisis. Like, the way that people would die on the streets, and we're talking, but for that people that are still like, oh, I feel a little sad when I see that recently Maduro was like depressed, I'm glad, on the jail or something like that, and there was a news and it was like, you cannot see someone suffering and not feel something. No, you can absolutely. I felt something. Yeah. I felt joy. Yeah. I felt joy. I'm glad that you're having depression because the mothers that died waiting on hospitals, they were also very depressed. All of the people that were starving, they were depressed. The mothers that have to grieve their 1-year-old dying because they were in hunger, they were very depressed as well. The kids that were protesting on the streets because they haven't eaten on weeks, they were very depressed as well. So I'm sorry that you are depressed, but we've been depressed for a very long time. And every time that you see that sad face crying and all of that, I also need you to remember the people that died fighting on the streets, protesting on the streets, and they don't even have popular names to be named for. And we are talking about the same person, and this is real, that were joking on national TV about Maduro diet, because in that moment when everyone was skinny, we were all losing weight because hunger was horrible. Yeah. And Venezuelans, we have this thing which is like we joke about everything. And on the streets, the joke was la dieta de Maduro, Maduro's diet, because no one had anything to eat. So we were all skinny. And a day after, he was on national TV saying, like, I can see that you all look so slim. That's Maduro's diet that has you there. That was the president making fun of people that were starving. And that was not the only time that he made fun of us. That we would stay weeks protesting on the street, and he would be on national TV dancing salsa, dancing all around, while mothers were grieving their kids, while Neomar Lander was dying, while they were all dying, he was just dancing. So every time that you feel depressed for him, please feel depressed for the millions of people that died under his horrible regime.
And can you believe the restaurants in Venezuela were selling their garbage, their food that they were throwing away?
Listen, I just listened to a podcast a long time ago. I remember there was women selling their hair.
Yes.
Las pirañas. I forgot about las pirañas.
Yeah. See, I did my research about
Las
your community a little
pirañas.
bit.
That's true.
Yeah,
Actually, that's not even the way that it was. Some of them were selling their hairs. They were willing to sell their hairs.
Yeah.
But there was something called pirañas, and las pirañas was people that would cut women hair on the streets if they were long enough, so they can sell it.
Yeah.
So everything
Without their consent.
without their consent.
So if you had a long hair in Venezuela, Gabby,
yeah.
you would be at risk.
Yeah,
No,
they would have been at risk during those times. So yeah, that's true. Absolutely, forget about las pirañas. Better.
Yeah, I done a little research on you. I did what I can to figure things. So yeah. Young lady, introduce yourself to my audience.
I'm Gabriella. I'm Maria's daughter. And I'm a first generation, half Venezuelan, half Cuban.
Yeah,
What do you have to say about that, Michael? Come on, say something.
We already talked behind the scenes, so I know you're catching all types of hell. So your dad's telling you, el comunista sí era Cuba, and now you got your mom telling her side of the story. So how's that conversation going in the house?
I was about to ask the same.
I'm really happy with the capture of Maduro.
Yeah.
It's a lot of emotions that I feel in terms of everything that's going on. I'm just happy that happened, but I'm also worried with everything that's going on, and it's a lot to process.
It's like only imagine because this is the closest or the first time ever that Venezuela seen what freedom could possibly look like if they played it right. So I get that.
But you're saying it perfectly. You're saying it perfectly.
I get it. Look, my people waited for 60 plus years. You guys did your 20, so you guys get half of what we've been through, whatever. So we had our problem before there was even the internet. So
God.
It's rough. I want to ask Nadi and I want to ask Gabriella a quick question because you guys are young and you guys college students, schools and stuff like that?
College student.
Okay, because I went to college. And I know for a fact, when you go to college, they teach you a lot of socialist liberalism. Do you guys had to endure those kind of things at the moment, being in those kind of schools? Because they really teach you, quote-unquote, progressive stuff. So they really try to, champion socialism and communism. So do you guys have to go through that at the moment? And, because I know Cuba's the front line when it comes to what socialism look like. And I know they're going to try to teach Venezuela what it looks like or whatever. And unfortunately, you got people that are not from our community that don't look like us telling our story, which is very infuriating. So I just want to know, do you guys go through that at the moment? Or are you
want to go
prepared
first? Or
You can.
okay.
Yeah.
So that's a very good question. And again, this is the moment where I piss off many different people, but
Piss us off. Go ahead.
That's fine. I will. I can
kick
assure
off.
you, I will. I have had to go to many different classes, and I actually agree with many progressive things being taught at schools. I feel like information is necessary. I want people to be informed about socialism, about communism, about capitalism, about right and left. But the important part here is that if you're going to show me the textbook situation, if you're going to show me the beautiful, everyone, I don't blame you guys. Everyone that reads El Manifiesto Comunista, eso es hermoso.
Yeah,
es un libro
the
hermosísimo.
book is sexy. I know for a fact.
Beautiful.
It's a sexy book.
That's something, that's
Attractive.
beautiful written. Of course, you want that to be realistic. Of course, you want that to be the reality. But at the same time, if you're going to read the book, you also need to look at the facts. And if you want to live that as a personal ideology, as a philosophy for yourself, because you want to be part of a community, go ahead. But understand that it doesn't work as a political situation. It doesn't work as a government. So again, I do feel like it's necessary for us to learn all of that, as long as you use it wisely, and as long as you understand that you also have to do your own research and understand how it looks like, not only how you read about it, but how it looks like. So yeah, that would be my opinion. And at the same time, también tenemos que ser cuidadosos con que, again, aunque se vistan de color, hay que saber por dónde viene. Nuestra dictadura se vio de ese color, pero hay otras dictaduras de colores diferentes que también hay que saber reconocer en sus early stages.
Yeah.
Entonces,
Well said. Well said. And yourself, Kat?
Yeah, so I've seen it with my own eyes. I feel like a lot of people think that when they think about Cuba, they think about like all the old cars. It's a wonderful place to go visit and vacation. But I've actually been there, and it's really sad, everything that actually goes on in Cuba. And there's a lot of people that don't have resources. And the cars from the 50s are actually from that time. They're not like, the only place you'll see like new cars from the 50s is in the capital, where people go sometimes to vacation.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really sad. It's not right. And it's human rights that we're talking about.
Yeah, and I also want to piggyback something, because I know when you did Alberto show, when I saw your Alberto show in Boston a couple of weeks ago, you mentioned yourself, you're not a Trumpy fan. You lean a certain way, but you're happy that he did what he did because it was so necessary to the community.
Of course.
And I say that, I say that to say this, because us Cubans, we go through that thing, because when they think of Cuba being unhappy with what's going on, they automatically think about the Cubans in Miami. Not knowing there's Cubans in Massachusetts, there's Cubans in New Jersey, there's black Cubans, white Cubans, Democrats, Republicans, gays, whatever it may be. We all share that common oppression, either some more than prominent, but we all share that same thing. So again, it's that whole divide and conquer, thinking there's only a certain, again, the privilege. So I want y'all to really pay attention, because you guys are going to be in the news more than ever. There's going to be more of this talk saying that, it's only the elites that are mad at this thing. So we need people like yourself to be in the front and say, no, this ain't it.
Yeah.
You need to listen to us, because we're the ones going through that situation.
Absolutely.
So,
and many people, again, getting informed, and not only with what you read in a book, reading 100 years ago, but what really is going on right now.
Yeah.
And I was telling Maria that I would divide like comunistas in two types. There's the person that really believes that can be something that can really happen, and they really are willing to to fight about it, and they really bought the book. They ate what the book wrote. And there's the ones that know how much money and how much profit they can take from it, and they know how much power they can have from it. And usually the ones that take the power, it's the second one. So guys, still informed, still reading, and still seeing what's going on.
And Michael, I do want to add this.
No one get fooled.
Yeah, go ahead.
As a mother with children in college, I remember my older daughter coming back from Amherst, UMass Amherst.
Yeah.
She saw me through my whole life fighting against the regime, because I've been the type that I got into the Chavistas networks and clarify things over and over. Every time I heard Fidel Castro is the best man out there. No, he's not. He's responsible for this and this and that. Well, my daughters, they both grow seeing me talking about how bad the regime was in Venezuela and how bad the Cuban regime was.
Yeah.
Well, my daughter Vanessa, she went to UMass Amherst, came back like, three semesters after. Mom, are you sure they're that bad?
Yeah.
Because, Mom, socialism is not a bad thing to have in a country.
Yeah.
Communism is not that bad. I was about to just flip right there.
Yeah.
I said, are you kidding me? I've been giving you facts. I've been telling you the truth. And now they go to these colleges and, brainwash in a way that you actually buy that. It said, no, Vanessa, and I'm going to go to your school and I'm going to make sure that I talk to that professor too.
Yeah. There's an episode I want you to. I'm gonna send you an episode I did with I don't remember Anna, the Cuban lady that does. She comes to our protests every year, every time something happened. But Anna, she did my episode. She was promoting her book, and she told her story. She went to college, and you had all these socialist liberalism telling about Cuba, and she's like, no, I'm from it, because this is where she left Cuba when she was like 5 or 6 or 7. So she's going to college right now, and she's getting like a whole different perspective. And it was people like attacking her, like being arrogant and condescending with her story, saying like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because we read this, and they have all this other stuff, and maybe you're speaking from your elite family. So she went through a lot of situation, and she had to talk about this to her parents. And, you know, the dad was kind of upset, but it was like, he was always up there in age, so like, I'm not going to go compete with this, because like he's just shaking his head like, this is what I'm paying my college kid for them to like say.
And I had to go one time to Boston University.
Yeah.
They held the consulate from Venezuela at the time.
Yeah.
Did some type of presentation that we were going to talk about how good the socialism was working in Venezuela.
Yeah.
I went there
Dangerous,
with a
horrible.
group of Venezuelans. We had to swallow to be there for a whole hour listening to all their BS about how wonderful it was working in Venezuela. Waited till the end. Somebody has any questions? Yes, I do. They
My
pull
question
me
is,
out.
are you for real? That's my
Because
question. Are you for real?
They did not want any questions. Nobody, going against what they were presenting right there.
course.
So of course they call the police and everybody. And in some of the protests that we done in Harvard, we had some people from Harvard coming out defending, the Chavismo.
Yeah, look, listen, Harvard, I mean, they're infamous. There's a story, I mean, I won't get into it because it's a long story, but there's some stuff we went through at Harvard a while ago dealing with their nonsense over there. So it's all these colleges, especially in Massachusetts. Because the reason why I asked that, because I went to college and they almost got me with their shenanigans, telling the story, whatever the case may be. And I knew a lot of it was BS, so I was just kind of like headstrong. But then there was another part that I didn't know where they almost got me in a situation. We're like, it's kind of sort of complicated. And part of it, I kind of blame my mother for that one because she never told me the full story. So I'm glad you're telling your daughter on what's really going on. But a lot of things, especially with the Cuban community, they don't tell their kids their story because there's a lot of traumatic issues going on
of
there.
course.
So
Yes.
we understand
That
that
makes
part.
sense.
A lot of people went through a lot of trauma, a lot of pain, a lot of suffering. So it's like we're not going there because this system is bad, but they don't get into details on why it's bad and what happened to them. So then you get all these kids that go to college and they're so lost within their own history that you got these progressive white professors telling them their story. And that's the part that gets very scary. So I'm glad you're doing your part, telling your daughter of, you got both sides of the hell, so you got to figure it out. And it didn't work in Venezuela, so there's no escaping it. So there's no way they try to catch you.
And actually, something that I wanted to add to that, and I want to be very clear with the message, so I'm going to do it in Spanish, but if you want to translate it
Go ahead.
later.
No, Go
Sí,
ahead.
I'm going to do it in Spanish, but go and translate.
No, español.
Lo que yo iba a decir es que hay que tener mucho cuidado con respecto otra vez a que tu ideología se adapte a la realidad y no la realidad a tu ideología, porque es una delgada línea entre terminar defendiendo cosas completamente crueles porque quieres que lo que tú crees sea real. Yo creo que muchas personas no vienen desde un mal punto, yo creo que muchas personas no vienen desde un bad heart, pero no entienden qué es lo que está pasando en la realidad. Entonces es muy importante, si tienes que defender dictadores para defender tu ideología, revísate, analiza lo que está pasando, analiza lo que estás diciendo y analiza lo que estás leyendo.
Bravo.
Amén.
Y eso
Bravo.
va para cualquier lado.
Amén.
Me lleva igual a la misma situación. Muchachos, pensamiento crítico. Y mira, hay una frase que mi mamá me decía muchísimo y que es una frase que me lleva en el corazón. No se rasguen las vestiduras por ningún político.
Amen. Wow, well said. Well said. And
Can someone translate?
No, don't ruin the moment, my friend. We are having a wonderful moment. Do not ruin this.
Okay.
Beautiful. Well said. And I think to end this, because we're about to almost finish up, I think with the word communism, I think we should I think we as a people, we should need to go to Webster's dictionary and finally change the definition of what it really means. A lot of these communism, they go through the definition. Socially means the owners of production and some production of all means or whatever the case may be. What it really means is this. It's pro-government and you're depending on the government to save you. That's all it really is. And then when you have pro-government, you got pro-dictatorship, pro-authoritarianism, and pro-hell. So I think we need to get together as a community and try to see if we can get Webster to change the dictionary. So
And also check history, guys. It has never worked.
yeah,
It
never
has
worked.
never
It
worked.
failed. It failed. It utterly failed. And they always go to like with Cuba they go with the education and the healthcare, But you're living proof. Your mom went to Cuba and she saw what it looked like. That is all full of lies, and they don't even got the bare minimum. They don't even got daggone apples. So enough said. And any final words, ladies?
Viva Venezuela libre. Sigamos manteniendo la paciencia y la fe porque esto es una lucha muy larga y los venezolanos tenemos que aprender a poder aguantarla completa y esperamos ver a una Venezuela libre y que caigan las cabezas que tienen que caer.
Well said.
Well, why don't I invite everybody to talk to a Venezuelan if they really want to know the truth of what's going on in that country? Because, fortunately, we live in this area where information it has some sort of easy access. Don't just go by all these croonies out there that gather in a corner with signs saying that hands off Venezuela, because that's just the opposite of what we want. Venezuelans do want United States to continue doing what they're doing. We're hoping that by this year, we have a real democratic system in place.
Hopefully.
Right now, we still don't have it. We got the main head of the gang captured, but we still have more people in there, like the president in charge that they put there to replace Maduro. She's worse maybe than him. So we really need to get all of them out. And we really appreciate from a Venezuelan point of view that we get all the support we can from the American people and anyone else around the world. We need the support. We really don't want to hear people against these actions because it's like what Nare was saying. If your ideology is supporting a dictatorship, then you need to revise yourself because then there's no empathy there. There's no humanitarian approach there. So thank you. Thank you for giving us this opportunity to talk today.
And Delsey's time is ticking, so don't worry about that. I'm gonna speak into his existence. Delsey's time is ticking, so we don't have to worry about that. We got the head off.
Amen. Amen.
Her tick 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 tick.
Yes.
Don't worry about that.
Yes.
And young Gabby, any last words for yourself?
Que viva Venezuela libre.
Yes.
Y Cuba libre.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, she has to go for both.
Yes.
She has a lot on her shoulders. She has a lot on her shoulders right now.
I love it. I love his shoulders, but I love it. She's down with the cause, man. And for my final words is this, man. Free Cuba, free Venezuela, and we can't forget about Nicaragua. Free Nicaragua.
Oh my God,
Absolutely.
I would say this, ever since 2021, this is a hip hop show. I know my artist been on me like, when are you gonna bring hip hop to the show? Don't worry, I'm coming back home for the hip hop show. But I gotta bring there's awareness going on because this is deeper than any hip hop song you can listen to at the moment. And not only that, when I first brought awareness to it, I felt like I was a man in a soapbox just screaming out of the top of my lungs, and it was just like a lonely ride. And then over the years, I was able to connect, and I was able to meet Cubans from like all over the world, just from the stuff I've been doing through the tape deck and through my other platforms. Through that, I was able to meet people from Venezuela and Nicaragua, and I was able to hear their stories and realize that we both share the same experience to our trauma. So with our trauma, we could share solidarity and show that we're not in this. We're not all this alone. We're not in this alone, and we're all in this together. So the struggle don't stop, the fight won't stop, and God willing, we will see a free Venezuela, a free Cuba, and a free Nicaragua.
Amen.
Yes. Ladies, thank you. Thank you. Don't be a stranger. Please come again.
Yeah, invite us again. We'll be here.
Yeah, answer your call. How about that? You answer your call. Boom, pick a call.
Any person that
I have no problem with Maria. You're the one giving me the headache.
every person that knows me knows that I have that problem. Like
worst.
Kathy that I love, by the way, she would be absolutely agreeing with you. Like, when is she gonna answer her phone?
Oh,
But Nare has a full schedule though.
Yeah.
She's one of those
No.
young people that I admire because she's always busy doing
No,
something.
she's not.
So.
She's never bored. I'll say that she's never bored.
Yes,
Always
yes.
got a schedule
I am
moving.
not. I am
But you
not.
know, I know it takes a lot of sacrifice. I know it take a time, you know what I mean, to take a lot from your busy schedule. But I really appreciate you coming through the tape. Deck and
Michael,
sharing
and we
story.
promise you that we're coming when Diosdado and Delcy are out.
We're gonna have a
En
part
nombre
two.
de Dios.
We-
En
we-
nombre
we
de
definitely-
Dios.
We will come to give you all the little facts from
Yeah.
inside the country.
I didn't cry. I didn't cry when Maduro was taken, but when they're taken, man, I'm gonna cry my
Oh my
eyes out.
God!
I'm gonna bail.
I think that's when we're gonna see freedom
Really?
closer.
Yes,
I mean, right
closer.
now it's just maybe 20%.
Yeah,
We still
It's-
need
it's
more than
baby
that.
Steps. Be very
Baby
optimistic.
steps,
It's baby
yes.
steps. You know,
Small
we just
wins,
can't
small
take
wins.
everything else because then you know I don't like to bring up the Middle East, but then we're gonna end with like the Middle East where they just took everything out.
Yeah,
They're like, oh,
and
wait a minute, we don't have a system.
That's why. That's why we
What
have to
happened?
be patient.
We
Yeah.
murdered everybody, so how
Yes.
the hell we gonna have a government here? Now the
Yes.
people's mad, and then they're gonna have the old rebellion. So
and
I
the
think
vacuum
there's a-
power, yeah.
Yeah.
Vacuum power.
Yeah, man, and I think another good thing too, like I said, we when I spoke to you earlier on, we got Marco Rubio, so he's very familiar how this thing works around.
He's
so
taking this
he's
with
taking the initiative.
passion.
Yeah.
This is
And because to him,
what
this is very
he knows he
personal
needs to
because
do.
it's very personal for him because of stuff he went through. So I think we're moving to the right direction of what's going on here.
oh my God!
So
I
we're-
really believe
I
this
hope
is gonna
so
happen. Yeah.
I'm just trying to preach
We'll,
some
we'll
positive
see
into existence
finally
here.
Cuba
Yeah.
free, Venezuela free. Wow.
100%. And I haven't forgot about you because I follow you online and you got one hell of a voice. You got some chops in you.
Thank you so much.
This is a musical show, so I'm hoping you come back and give me a little something on the mic. And
Absolutely.
You, say,
We've been hitting
Yeah.
the studios recently, so as long as I have my first thing, I'm gonna come here.
you want to give me a little something there?
Follow me on Instagram,
Yeah, that's right here.
Nare_sounds,
Of
and you'll
course.
see
Come
it
on,
there.
Sing.
do you want to sing here? She has a beautiful
I know, I'm
voice.
trying to get her. Give me 15 seconds. Give me
Come on,
something
Nare, you
TikTok.
can do
What?
this.
Something on TikTok. I know you got-
Okay, let's
You,
sing.
what do you remember off TikTok?
My TikTok.
Yeah, your TikTok. You can look.
The things that I was you saw the things that I was singing
Yeah,
in TikTok.
yes.
Actually, now I know. Now I know when you
That's why I know.
now
you.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, little context. Going back to 2024, I started explaining on small songs what was going on in Venezuela. So I did a series about it,
Wonderful.
going day by
Wonderful.
day and explaining. And it was a very beautiful series. But I also have to stop it because my family los amenazaron en Venezuela.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But we're here. So now we can sing a little bit. I remember one of those that it was one of the most important, so I'm gonna do it. Una tiene 13 años, otra tiene 16. La más joven 8 años, atrapados por la ley. Dice la líder Machado. Venga. ¡Ah! Nara, 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 na. Pásate al lado adecuado. Defiende la libertad.
All right, I'll take it.
Bravo, Nare. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
That was just a beautiful thing
Yeah.
that you did.
Yeah, I
sometime,
remember
yeah.
that. I remember that.
And that was just a snippet, y'all, man. We're gonna bring more of that coming soon, man. So
Yes.
I'm hoping we get you for a part 2. You lady will come back for part over the summertime. We'll come
And
back.
if you want to hear the whole series, because it was like 2 years ago, so I don't remember everything. It's Nare_sounds, and you can find the whole series there. And I was explaining day by day what's going on small songs. So if you want like a resume about it, you can find it.
Are you
there.
gonna go back to do this? This is a very special moment.
I really wanna do it
Yeah.
again. Actually, I think that maybe I will. I think that a lot of things are
It would
happening
be a
right now.
continuation of
and
what
it
you
would be
started.
not only a continuation, but I feel like there's hope now. So maybe
God,
we can
yeah.
move with that hope, and maybe we can sing
Yes,
happier stuff.
yes,
So
Yes.
Bad, man. I love it, man. I love it. So, yes, man. Once again, this your boy, Cuban Mic. You've been listening to 102.9 Tape Deck. You can catch me here every Friday from 6 to 7. I'll catch you next time. Same Tape Deck time, same Tape Deck channel. Viva Venezuela, Libre. I am out of here. Peace.